As you make your first trip to Amsterdam, do you have any concerns about what lies ahead? It might be a little stressful to navigate an Amsterdam trip, especially if it's your first time. This video contains our Amsterdam travel guide in an effort to help. This thorough guide's objectives include helping you with your travel arrangements to Amsterdam, as well as avoiding typical traps to make your trip more memorable and hassle-free. We now offer our top 5 pieces of travel advice, which cover everything from using credit cards, public transportation tips and the best museum to visit, to vital advice that can help travelers save time and money. Hello and welcome to Mr. Dibbles' YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future excellent stuff. Number 5. Take public transportation. The size of Amsterdam is considerable. While it is possible to stroll through the city centre, the distances between some of the prominent attractions can soon mount up. Therefore, it is frequently preferable to utilise public transportation for some of the longer distances, if you want to see a lot without feeling tired. How much time you have in the city, where you're staying, and what you plan to see and do each day all play a role. However, Amsterdam's public transportation system is really effective, so use it without hesitation. Taxis are generally more expensive and slower than trams, ferries and metros. If you only sometimes travel by tram, you may just scan your debit card or smartphone on the tram, or remember to scan it once you get off. It is preferable to get a public transportation ticket that is valid for the entirety of your stay if you anticipate using public transportation more frequently than once. It makes exploring Amsterdam so much easier and is valid on all buses, trams, metros and ferries. You may also get the GVB app, which will make getting around the city much simpler. Mr. Dibbles' tip. The best way to travel to the city centre from Schiphol International Airport, AMS, is via train. Less than 15 minutes pass. Here, you can make a train reservation. It is a digital ticket with a QR code, saving you time at the station, and it's good for any train running on the chosen day between the airport and the central station. Number 4. Explore the canals. If there is one thing you must do in Amsterdam, it is to explore the city's network of canals. A canal tour is the finest way to see a lot in a short amount of time. There are a ton of alternatives for boat trips and canal cruises, including dinner and sightseeing cruises. This is a fantastic way to learn more about Amsterdam and view the city from a different perspective. You should also spend some time strolling through the city's heart and investigating the canals on foot. It's best to attempt both. It's actually not a choice between walking and boating. Mr. Dibbles' tip. In the evening, when the buildings and bridges are brightly lit, Amsterdam's canals are quite attractive, so make sure to return and check them out at night. In this case, you should try to tour the canals both during the day and at night. It's a pretty unique experience that you must have when in Amsterdam. Additionally, due to the overwhelming variety of canal cruises, next are some of our top choices. City Canal Tour. The busiest sightseeing cruise, so get there early and attempt to snag a window seat. This is the most popular sightseeing tour. This canal tour begins not far from the main train station. Canal City Cruise in style. If you've ever taken a packed canal cruise in Amsterdam, you'll understand why it's well worth the extra money to have a more opulent experience. Check it out while it's still extremely inexpensive. A cheese and wine option is also available for this trip. You can choose from a number of departure points nearby the most well-known attractions. Canal Cruise in the evening. The most well-liked nighttime cruise is this one. Or you could choose a boat tour with a 4-course supper or an evening cruise that includes pizza. Number 3. Do not overlook Van Gogh. It might be difficult to decide where to go in Amsterdam because there are so many intriguing museums and activities to choose from, especially if you only have a day or two and can't see it all. In this Amsterdam travel guide, we recommend going to the Van Gogh Museum if you only have time for one museum in Amsterdam. The world's largest collection of Van Gogh artwork is housed in this museum. You'll also see pieces by other painters from the same time period among the more than 200 paintings. However, the most well-known painter from the Netherlands, his life and his masterpieces are of course the main focus. The most popular museum in the Netherlands is certainly worth a visit. Even if you only have a few hours, it's still worthwhile to spend half a day or a day here. We advise setting aside at least 2 hours for this. It's a good idea to reserve your skip-the-line tickets online in advance for the Van Gogh Museum as well. The I Amsterdam City card no longer includes admission to this museum. but it still does with this well-liked digital pass for the key attractions. Number 2. Seek out neighbourhood eateries and brown bars. Like any large city, Amsterdam offers some fantastic neighbourhood eateries, as well as some that are busier with tourists, more expensive, and frequently have inferior quality food. Avoid the latter when possible. Typically, eateries with photos on the menu appeal to tourists and don't always provide the best value for money. Asking the locals about the greatest restaurants in the area is one of the best methods to find great places to eat. Or just look up the nearby eateries on Google Maps to discover which ones have the most positive reviews from their patrons. This, in our opinion, is the greatest approach to both avoid disappointment and locate a nice restaurant nearby when you're hungry. But the best eateries are frequently completely booked, particularly for evenings. Therefore, it pays to do some research and make reservations in advance. Look for the so-called brown bars if you want to visit a neighbourhood tavern for a drink. You can find these at more genuine, historic, and gloomy neighbourhood cafes throughout the city. Although they may not be trendy, if you want a truly local experience, this is it. Every resident of Amsterdam is known to have a favourite brown cafe. Number 1. Verify whether they accept credit cards and have some cash at hand. Today, credit cards and other forms of electronic payment are accepted almost everywhere in Amsterdam. Some people hardly ever use cash. However, many establishments continue to solely accept Visa or MasterCard when accepting credit cards. In Europe, Amex and Diners Club are pretty much useless. If you're travelling from outside of Europe, you might not be able to use a standard European debit card like Maestro, or as the Dutch say, Pinnen. Therefore, be cautious to confirm that a restaurant or cafe accepts credit cards before you sit down for a meal or a drink in order to prevent awkward circumstances. Additionally, it never hurts to have some cash on you. Mr. Dibbles' tip. You can typically use a cashless payment system on your smartphone to make a purchase. If a location does not accept cash or credit cards and you do not have a European debit card, Maestro. Make sure you have this choice available because it can be the only one available at certain times. Not just in the Netherlands, but also in many other locations around Europe. Additionally, most European nations utilize credit cards with PINs and may even stop accepting card payments made with a signature. Therefore, if you intend to travel Europe, it could be a good idea to purchase a travel credit card with a chip and PIN. Again, only Visa or MasterCard are generally accepted. Finally, there are many magical moments that first-time tourists can have in Amsterdam. Your journey will be successful if you follow our Amsterdam travel guide. Enjoy the charm of the city as you travel through its canals on enthralling boat trips or leisurely strolls, both during the day and in the twilight. At the Van Gogh Museum, immerse yourself in artistic creations and seek out neighbourhood cafes and the famous brown bars to experience authentic gastronomic delights. Use public transportation to get around easily and see more while maintaining your energy. Before you eat, be sure to check the payment choices to make sure you're ready for a hassle-free encounter. Discover the fascination of Amsterdam and make your journey one to remember. For more exclusive information about travel, like and subscribe.